And you know you got to polish the hairline. Get them baby hairs together. Hey y'all, I'm Ashley Renee and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my updated twist out routine. If you follow me on Instagram, then you already know that for the past month and a half or so, I've been trying this whole mousse thing. It's been all over the natural hair world. People have been using curl mousse lately to do wash and goes, to do twist outs, the whole nine. Trying to use more products that aren't as heavy on the hair. And I must say, I've been liking how light and fluffy my hair has been. So I'm gonna continue this journey, but I've learned a few things along it. So in this video, I'm going to share a few of those things. So if you're interested in learning how I do my twist out, keep watching. Okay, so first things first, I have freshly washed and conditioned hair, okay? And I have it sectioned into 4 because if you're not sectioning your hair and taking it in bite-sized pieces, then I don't know what you're doing. You're working too hard. You're working too hard. So for my first product application, I'm gonna go in with about a pea size of my leave-in. I'm gonna emulsify it on my hands, and I'm going to use prayer hands to apply the leave-in. So I'm just wanting to get that all over the hair. And I'm also going to open that hair up and really work that product in. Working the product into the hair is really key. Product distribution, even distribution matters in the grand scheme of dealing with hair in general, but especially textured hair. Now, to make this a little bit more interesting, I'm gonna go ahead and wet my hair up a little bit more. because water is so helpful in that it helps with slip, but it also helps with getting that product evenly distributed across all of the strands. And that's what we want. So that's the first section. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this half. Let's wet this first. That just makes it a lot easier. It's really important that when you're working with textured hair, afro hair, really dense curly hair, that you open the hair up, not just apply product on the outside of it. I'm gonna take another, I'm saying a pea size, but it's really about a dime to a nickel per section. And again, using the prayer hand method, and get that all over the hair. And then I'm going to open that hair up. Because this is the thing, when you don't open the hair up, you miss a lot of opportunity to really distribute product. So a lot of times, and sometimes you may need a little bit more. I'm going to use a little bit more. But a lot of times, the inside of the hair, especially when you have a lot of dense curly hair you're dealing with, the inside is missed. And so it's important to be thorough in this process and apply the product. You want it on all of your strands. So from there, I am going to take my wide tooth comb, starting at my ends and working my way up. I am going to just detangle, which my hair is pre-detangled from my conditioning process in the shower. However, I like to keep the hair detangled throughout my entire working process. This just helps with manageability, and it also helps with keeping the hair organized and smooth. I'm gonna go in with my Tangle Ease brush, further smooth that out, and I'm gonna just clip this off, and I'm gonna reorganize my 4 sections, making sure that it's fully detangled from root to end and from ends to roots. And then I'm going to twist this and just clip this off. I'm going to get through around my entire head with this process, so that all we have to do from here is twist with the mousse. But I like to prep. So this is like my way of prepping my hair. And preparation, just like anything, preparation is key. So you want to just prep and make the whole doing of the hair process easier. And this is just how I find ease in the process of doing my hair. So I'm going to wet that section. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply more leave-in. Opening the hair up. You don't always need more product. You just need to massage the product that's on the hair in further. Keeping the hair wet also helps with this. And if your hair is anything like mine, it dries super fast. So keeping a spray bottle near is extremely helpful. But now we want to just clean up the parts, get the 4 sections there, make our life a lot easier. I'm going to take my Tangle Ease, smooth this side out as well, starting at my ends and working my way up. I like to just twist it smooth and stretch the twists as I go down. So if you have been, like I said, following me on Instagram, then this video is for y'all because I promised y'all this video. But if you're new here, you can definitely check out some of my previous videos. I have a lot of videos between my Instagram and my YouTube that just shows technique. I feel like my technique is pretty much consistent. Before I share, I like to make sure that I have something to even share with you guys. So I like to play around with things first before I share. So I have been doing this mousse twist out for, like I said, the past month and a half or so. And I've been having success with it. Now, the first time I tried it, I went in with just the mousse only because I wanted to see how my hair would respond to just mousse. But because of the kinkier afro nature of my hair, I don't do well with mousse only. So I shared on my stories on Instagram that applying a leave-in prior to adding the mousse to the hair was very helpful to me. What was happening was with the mousse only was that I did have the lightness and the fluffiness, and I did like it, but I found that my hair was extremely dry. So I feel as though I can implement the same lock method that I always use with my cream with the mousse. The only thing is with mousse, a lot of times, mousses typically don't play well with a lot of different products. Sometimes you'll get a product buildup, or the curl mousse itself just won't behave in the way that it would if you didn't use these things. But I found with this Paul Mitchell leave-in conditioner, this is a great universal player. She plays well with a lot of different products. So I love her. And so as you can see, we have the base layer of leave-in on our hair. So from here, we're going to go in with our pattern mousse. Now, another thing I've been loving about the mousse only twist out is my hair dries a lot faster. And I'm also using a lot less like product on my hair. When it comes to this twist, what I like to do is use one pump, one, maybe two, but typically one pump of mousse. I like to just run it through. I also like to add water. Making sure that the hair is hydrated plays a huge part in your styling, in the hydration of the hair, in the conditioning of the hair. It's just everything. Water just makes everything better. So in my last twist out, what I did that I actually liked was that I did a little braid in the root. I braided about a fourth, maybe even less than a fourth of the way. And then I twisted the rest. And what I found is that this helped a lot with stretching. Not only the entire, strand of twist, but also stretching the roots, which for me, the nature of my hair, my roots frizz up and they can get a little knotty, and sometimes that could lead to like breakage. And I've been trying to figure out how I could lessen that from happening. And so I've been finding success in doing a little braid and then the rest twist. And from what you've just seen, and I take my comb and I just curl the ends just to give the ends a little bit more polish. And I literally just repeat this process throughout my entire head. Now, I like to do like a medium, I would say a small medium twist. My hair is puffy in nature, so my twists are going to expand and appear chunky. And so I've just found that the medium-sized twist gives me the right amount of definition and volume, because with my hair, I can easily achieve volume. So I like to focus on the definition. And so a rule of thumb when it comes to twist outs, something that I've learned, if you need volume, then make your twist bigger. If you want to focus on definition, make your twist smaller. Okay, so with this, I'm going to separate this into 3. I'm going to braid. And again, this is helpful in getting a nice stretch on the roots. If you find that you sweat a lot or you puff up in your roots a lot, then braiding part of the way down could be very helpful for you, because it has been for me. And I just like to smooth that twist down. One other rule of thumb for me with twist outs is that I make sure both of my tails, I call these tails, both of my tails are even in density is what I mean. Like how thick each tail is. Make sure that they are equal so that you get a pretty even twist all the way down. So I'm just gonna repeat this all around my head. And like I said, I like to take my hair a section at a time, because it just helps with overall organization, manageability. I know when it comes to doing our own hair, it can get a little much. And so the goal is to make things a lot easier. So we're gonna wet that down. And I'm gonna smooth the water onto my hair. And then I'm gonna take some mousse and I'm gonna tap my roots. Okay, and I'm gonna work that mousse into my hair, making sure that I'm even feeling for the back of the hair. A lot of times I see that this can be an overlooked part of the hair. And a lot of times, a lot of breakage and things like that are experienced, mainly in the back, especially when you're dealing with your own hair. I get it. The back is not always the easiest thing to see, but it's helpful to have, first and foremost, feeling it out. And then secondly, have a mirror handy. Have a mirror handy where you can place that mirror behind yourself to see what you're doing. You want to make sure that it's detangled from the root to the end. You want to make sure that it's smooth. I can't really stress smoothness enough. I'm learning that, especially with kinkier, curlier textures of hair, smoothing is very, very important. Making sure that the hair is smooth is very, very important. And literally just twisting. All the way down. And just repeat this step all around the head. I sometimes even like to take my rat tail comb just to kind of tap my roots, making sure that everything is smooth. All right, so I am going to finish this part of my head and I will be back. All right, y'all, so I am done with this half of my hair. And we have some nice juicy twist. You see I braided it, kind of stretches the roots out a bit. And so I'm just going to go in and do the other side. And when I get to the front, I'll be back. As I'm doing this, it's just coming across my mind to remind you guys that your hair, when it's in this wet state, is even more fragile. So hair in general is very delicate, very fragile. I always tell people like this: see your hair as the finest, most beautiful, expensive fabric. When you are dealing with those types of fabric, you tend to be very, very mindful of how you deal with it, how you wash it or don't wash it. You actually probably dry clean it. It's just a whole different process as to how you handle your hair. And so I just like to give a gentle reminder for all of us to treat our hair with care and kindness, and be gentle when you're combing it, when you're manipulating it in any way, especially when it's wet, because that's when it's most fragile. But also when it's dry, it's also fragile. So I would still say have the same approach. However, I like to encourage and really emphasize that gentleness when the hair is in this wet state, because it's very prone to breakage if you're not careful, if you are being rough when you use certain tools. So I just want to remind you guys to be very, very gentle. If you have any tangles, like, take your time going through those. Do not rush the process, because we want our hair in a really good condition, right? All right, guys, so we are at the front. As you can see, we've gotten through all 3 sections, braiding the roots for a little extra stretch. So some of the things that I've been noticing in doing this curl mousse twist out, I'll reiterate that I do agree that it's a lot lighter on the hair. I don't typically have an issue with product buildup on my hair, but I can feel that my hair is just not as heavy compared to when I would use my cream. I do think that the creams have their place, just as other products do. But I think what I'll probably do, I think creams will probably be good for me in summer months. I'm curious to see how these curl mousses would respond to humidity. I know when I first embarked on this journey of using curl mousse, I did use mousse only. And it was at a time where I live in New Orleans, so I did it at a time where we had some high humidity. And my first reaction was that I did not like the mousse, because I found that my hair frizzed up a lot. And if it wasn't for me retwisting it at night, that twist out would have been a fail. However, I took another approach when it got a little cooler, and I tried this method with layering the leave-in conditioner underneath. But not only that, when it dries, what I found to be beneficial is adding a little oil. So I find that my hair just needs a little bit more layering, as I explained. So when I did the leave-in alone, the leave-in with the mousse alone, I feel like I got to day 3 of my twist out with my hair still feeling like moisturized, hydrated and moisturized. About day 3 is when I felt like it was starting to dry out, and usually my hair doesn't start to dry out, indicating that I really need to wash it, until about day 5. And so what I did was took a little oil and I oiled my scalp. Because my hair felt dry, it didn't feel dehydrated dry, it just felt moisture dry. And there's a difference. And so because I know my hair, and because I know that, like I said, my hair usually doesn't become dehydrated until about day 5 or 6 of my twist outs, I went to assume that perhaps I just needed a little moisture. So I went in and I oiled my scalp a little bit. And when I took my twists and retwisted them that night, I put a little bit of oil mist on my hands to retwist the hair. And the next day, that extra added oil helped a lot. It helped a whole lot. And I found that my hair felt very soft, very moisturized. It didn't frizz up as easily. So I said, well, let's just continue to take the approach of using the lock method. But instead of adding the oil during this wet step, I add the oil later. So sometimes I've been playing around with it. So sometimes that could look like oiling my scalp right after I do this whole twist out thing before I get under the dryer. Sometimes it could look like I wait for it to dry and then I add my oil. So I've been trying to play with it to see when is the best time to add the actual oil. I know for sure that when I take the twist down, lubricating my hands adds a layer of oil to the hair. That's very helpful. My last twist out, I oiled my scalp a little bit because oil does not travel down my strings. I don't have like an overactive production of sebum. Sebum is basically the oil, basically your natural hair oil. So for me, my natural hair oil levels are just pretty normal. Like I don't have extremely dry scalp and I don't have extremely oily scalp, but I can say that my hair benefits from oil. So I just have to figure out sometimes when is the most appropriate time to use the oil. Sometimes, like I said, that looks like oil in my scalp, and then other times that could look like just oil in my hands before I manipulate my hair. And again, this is not a every time situation. I don't do that every night, but about this particular time, when I did my twist out last, I only did the oil step when I was ready to take the twist down. I oiled the scalp after I twisted it, like I'm doing now. I oiled the scalp once my twists were done, sat under the dryer, and then when I went to take my twist down, I oiled my hands. And that was the extent of the oil for the entire week. So oil in my scalp and oil in my hands before taking the twist down. That was helpful. So before I used the Pattern Mousse, I did try the dew. And I liked the dew, but I really liked Pattern. I felt like Pattern gives my hair a lot more long-lasting definition. And I feel like with the dew, I got a lot of volume and definition. But the thing with my hair is I don't need help with volume because of the kinky nature of my hair and the afro nature of my hair. My hair has volume. So the thing that I like to focus on the most is my definition. So I felt like Pattern definitely gave me what I was looking for. All right, so one last time. We're on our last two. So I'll just go through the motions one more time. I wet the hair up really well. Get the mousse on, smooth it through so that we're evenly distributing our product. Making sure that the hair is smooth from root to end. And I separate the hair into 3. And I go in with a braid. Really putting a little light tension on the root. Braiding down. I wouldn't even say midway, like literally a little bit of the way and then twisting the rest of the way. Because my thing is, I like the pattern that my twists make more than my braid. I'm not a braid out girl. So we're really just, in this case, using braids to help with elongation and help with putting some tension in the root area so that we keep the roots nice and smooth so that they're not too frizzy and kind of knotting up on each other and just causing unnecessary havoc. So I like to make sure that my roots are really smooth. This is a newer technique of mine. Like I said, I don't really usually switch techniques because they pretty much work for me, but I'm always looking for more ways to better my hair routines. And I've seen a couple of people do twist outs with braiding the roots. And I just said, why not try that? Let's just see. And so my last twist out, I tried it and I actually liked it. I did find that my roots were less frizzy and I didn't really have a lot of knotting and tangling in my root area, which also helps me in the long run with minimizing my breakage. And as you twist down, you just want to make sure that everything stays smooth, nice and smooth. And so there you go. The twist out is done. And so then you're just gonna dry from here. But we're all done. And so from here, I am going to sit in the dryer for about 20 to 30 minutes. It just depends. If I usually don't take my twists down when I first do them, like I don't foresee me taking them down tomorrow or whenever. Usually I take them down like a day or so later, if not wearing them throughout the week because they be cute. But for the sake of showing you guys a follow-up, when I do take it down, I will make another video based on that. Like I said, I'm gonna go and dry a little bit, about 20 to 30 minutes will give me what I'm looking for. It'll dry my hair about half of the way, and then I'll air dry the other half of the way. When I get from under the dryer, I will seal everything in with my Agadir. This is the spray treatment. It's an oil mist spray. It's very lightweight. When I take them down, typically I spray my hands with this and I use it just so that we're keeping everything light in weight, but we're adding layers for more moisture for the hair types that need a little bit more moisture. I think I am going to oil my scalp, but I'm gonna do it after I get from under the dryer this time. Like I said, I'll follow up with y'all. I'm still just trying to play around with some things, see what works out best. And you know you got to polish the hairline. Get them baby hairs together. But I will be back with another video. But this concludes this segment of my updated twist out routine. I hope this was helpful. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Do you use the mousse? Do you use Pattern? Do you use the Dude? What mousse do you use? Do you use mousse? Do you do wash and goes? Are you a twist out girl? Do you braid your roots? Like, do y'all do any of this? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Give me some feedback. What else would you like to see from me? But yeah, that was it. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.